My parents fought a lot when I was young. I remembered a lot of arguments ended up with Mum slamming doors and crying because she never felt like she was getting any help from Dad. Which is true. I never remember him holding down a job. I only remember him complaining about how sore his back was. Apparently he broke it. I don't know. I never saw an x-ray. Dad reckoned it helped in other ways though, like putting the car in neutral when we were going down hills to save petrol. When my parents were together, I remember Mum just being so frustrated because of my dad's apathy. He always seemed so vacant, like he didn't exist or we didn't exist. Maybe both. Then he was gone for a few weeks. One day Mum got a call from our gran, Dad's mum, saying that our dad wasn't going to be coming home and that he'd be staying near Sydney. The next thing I remember is Dad appearing about a week later and sitting my older brother and I down on our lounge room. I remember him saying, "I'm sorry. I won't be there to watch you both grow up." And then he left. About a year after that, Mum was exhausted from looking after 3 kids by herself and she had a mountain of debt. I remember getting hampers from St. Vincent de Paul Society, canned food to help us get through the week. There was even talk of moving to a local caravan park because it was cheaper rent. Mum tried as hard as she could, but the debt kept piling high. Every time we thought we were getting in the clear, she would get hit with another unexpected bill. Meals became simpler, and our clothes became thinner. So Mum decided to put us on the public housing commission list. Because we were a family with one parent, we were top priority. But it meant we had to move 400 k's to a regional town in Victoria. A week before the move, Mum got the news squatters had broken into our new house and used the curtains as sheets. It nearly broke her. Us kids could feel the pressure, but we were paralysed to help. It was really confusing and scary. And what could we do? My brother worked at a video store in town, but he was paid in films. And unfortunately, VHS copies of Twister aren't accepted as rent. Commission house was a term I'd hear a lot from then on, because that's where we lived. And at a primary school, that's the label you get stuck with and quickly become known as. I couldn't understand why we didn't vacuum the house and had to sweep the carpet with a brush. I remember thinking this was normal until I invited a friend over and they laughed at me when I told them that's what we had to do. Then I started to notice other things about our house. Why is there mould on the walls? Why didn't Mum work? Why are there always police going into our neighbours' houses in suits? What is a drug lab? One day people came to take away our cargo. Mum was left sobbing as a friend hugged her, and again, I could only look on with my siblings, not really understanding what was going on. How could people just do that? Take our things! They were our things! Repossession, it was called. I hadn't heard that word before, but all the grown-ups kept repeating it. I didn't invite friends over after that. I started feeling lesser than other people. I was so ashamed of being poor and living in the commission house. I used to lie to my friends' parents and have them drop me off at different houses, and then I would walk them. It was a horrible anxiety to live with. I felt like I lived a double life for all of my teens. I do remember though getting my first job though when I was 14. I had $6.10 an hour. My first pay was $110. Barely gets you a ticket to a show now. But all those years ago, it meant so much. I remember giving $60 immediately to Mum to help with some groceries. She was so thankful. Slowly, the debt receded, the savings got bigger, and I helped Mum get a home. Finally, she has some security. So when I see people now who appear to be in a similar situation as to what I was when I was younger, I recognise their struggles, and I do so with no judgment.